Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. There will be a strong language and adult themes. So, and get rid of the echo.
So what's today's theme?
Today is International Left-Handers Day.
Oh, why do all those evil sinners need their own day? I'm kidding.
I've actually suspected that I was supposed to be left-handed and may have got trained out of it at a very early age.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm generally ambidextrous. I can use most tools fairly well with either hand.
Mm-hmm.
And my handwriting is absolutely illegible no matter which hand I use.
Yeah, when it comes to not handwriting, like I write with my right hand, but like, when you cut things and like you do things to eat, I do it left-handed.
Yep.
So like I hold the knife in my left hand and use my fork in my right hand, and apparently you're supposed to do it the other way around.
Yeah, well, and I do know that my left eye is definitely dominant. So, any type of aiming or shooting, I
Mm-hmm.
have to do it left-handed or I can't aim accurately.
That would actually explain quite a bit about why I have trouble with doing that kind of thing. Because I'm left eye dominant,
Mm-hmm.
and my right eye is poor. Like
Yep.
it doesn't work as well as the left eye. But that would explain why I've always had so much trouble whenever I would go shooting with my dad.
Yeah,
Being right-handed and trying to shoot right-handed.
well, and I find that too with some of the power saws, that some of them are right-handed and some are left-handed, depending on how the motor's mounted.
Mm-hmm.
And the ones that I'm sighting the line with my left eye, I can get much better precision, much better accuracy.
Ah. Yeah, I know my brother is ambidextrous or left-hand. Yeah, pretty much ambidextrous. But
there's Jenny. Hello.
Hello.
Was wondering where you went to.
Some reason SteamYard went goofy and wouldn't let me back in, and then I had to re-upload everything, and so it's fixed.
Okay.
Hi.
I'm glad it's working for you.
I'm not exactly ambidextrous, but I use my left hand more than most people do. My left boob is dominant. I can tell you that.
Well, that's a separate issue, but something much more common than people realize. That for most women, one will be up to a full cup size larger than the other.
I don't know any woman who's told me that she's perfectly even.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's extremely common, but a lot of women seem to think it's strange. And this is just one of those things that it's like, sex is such a taboo that nobody talks about it to even find out what is normal.
Yeah.
Oh. Kitty, did you see my new nails? My new color?
Yeah,
nice.
I saw that in the Twitter group just a moment ago.
I've never done blue before.
I have a tendency to avoid light colors when it comes to nails. I tend to go darks, reds, mostly either black or purples, dark purples.
I saw this black that was just, it was the flattest flat black I've ever seen. It was like it just sucked you into it. It was so flat. It was just very, very cool. And I found that somebody is making the chrome nail polish that I've always wished it was out there. You actually put it on and it dries to look very much like chrome.
Oh, I can see that would be a cool effect with a lot of things.
And it comes in like pink chrome and purple chrome and silver chrome and gold chrome. And but it's $15 a bottle.
Oof.
Yeah.
The last time I went and got my nails done, they had this paint, and it was base coat green, but then they would run a magnet over it. Like, they would paint your
Oh yeah.
nails, and then they would run a magnet over it, and
Yep.
it would create a lighter, like, mine ended up being green, yellow, and like a silver streak,
Yeah.
and that was pretty cool.
Chameleon paint. They can do that on cars too. There's this other cool thing. I haven't seen it adapted to nails yet, but I could see how you could if you want. They do a paint job on a car, and then while it is beginning to set up, they take a special laser at a certain frequency, which is tuned to the given paint that you're using, and they can create a pinstripe or whatever kind of decoration like that right in the paint without it being any different than the other paint except how it's aligned. So you get this decoration for no cost in materials, just this momentary zap with a laser. And I could see how they could adapt that to nails, for nail design. That seems to be popular nowadays, and just, give the nail a quick zap and it's there. That would be kind of cool. Okay, nobody else cares about nails, just me.
No, nails are the only girly thing that I do. Like, I don't do my hair, I don't do makeup, but if I can afford it, I will totally get my nails done.
I can't afford to have someone else do it, but I'll take the time and do it myself, since all I have is time right now. I didn't get my job. The Census Bureau called and did a phone interview, and they hired somebody else to do it. Darn it.
Oh, sorry.
It was going to be $17 an hour.
Yeah, what was that, just to be a door knocker to make sure people filled out the census forms? Or
No, they actually needed somebody to go around and locate and photograph certain locations. I don't know what the purpose of it was, but that's what it was going to be. And so it was going to be a lot of driving. And they were going to also pay, like, what did they say it was? Like 37 cents a mile. And when I ran the numbers, I basically would have been making about 20 cents a mile just for driving. So that'd have been quite profitable. But
yeah, sorry that didn't work out for you.
Yeah, it's all right. It would have been nice though, extra cash. Oh, cool.
Excuse me.
So what you guys been up to?
Not too much, really.
Yeah, not too much. Oh, excuse me, sorry. I'm tired.
Well, Kitty, aren't you going through something weird with your employer? Something about layoffs or not layoffs? And
no, I don't know anything about layoffs, but I decided to take a leave of absence until next Friday, because all the stress and anxiety from all this stuff that's going on. And then I ended up having a panic attack today because they took me off the schedule for the leave, but then they also took me off for the week after the leave too. And of course, my worry wart of a brain just went to all the worst places, thinking I'd gotten fired or something. But they just deactivated me for the leave, and when they do that, it takes you off all of your schedules.
oh, I see. Well, that kind of makes sense. Bad programming.
Yeah, like they couldn't just go in and take me out of on the days that I was,
Mm-hmm.
They had to take me out completely, and then they'll have to put me back in. I mean, assuming they're going to put me back in. Yeah, there's no reason not to.
Yeah, I'm sure you haven't caused any problems there.
No, unlike my boyfriend. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, what do you need him for? You can buy a good one in the store. Although batteries can get expensive.
Yeah, my good source for that stuff isn't working out anymore.
Oh,
Menards always used to run all kinds of rebates, but with the COVID, I guess they can't count on their suppliers being consistent to all their stores, so they're not running the kind of deals they used to.
I thought I saw. I can't remember if it was on Twitter or something else. Some little news blurb about sex toy manufacturers said that they're just overloaded with orders and stuff these days.
Oh, I can believe it.
yeah.
It's kind of good to hear, I guess. Hey, can you believe what this asshole Trump is doing with the post office?
Eh,
Yeah, well, it's part of his thing to get rid of the mail-in voting, but also, some of the people he's appointed are, heavily invested in other shipping companies.
I just wonder what's going to happen if he manages to defund the post office.
The post office has to exist. It's in the Constitution.
Oh, I don't know that.
Yeah, it's like the only government agency that is. It has to exist. They have to change the Constitution to get rid of it. And that ain't going to happen. People like the post office.
Yeah, well, and that's why basically they're trying to bankrupt it, and they're saddling it with unrealistic things that no other business or government agency ever has to do,
Right.
like funding their pension 10 years in advance.
Yep, exactly. It's exactly what they're doing. Fucking pricks. They're just, and it's so
Yeah.
obvious that now what they're doing to they already have them digging up postal boxes and taking them away already. I mean, this has just been 2 days after this guy first started mentioning this, and boom, it's happening.
Yeah, and the post office gets no tax money, and it's the only branch of the government that is self-supporting. All of their revenue is from the sales of stamps and services. And until they settled them with that ridiculous thing about the pensions, they had always been profitable.
Mm-hmm.
They were the only government agency that was actually running with a surplus consistently.
And it's so low cost compared to postal service in the rest of the world.
Yeah.
I mean, what is it, up to 50 cents for a stamp?
Yeah. Well, see, and that's part of the thing that, they're trying, like I said, part of it's trying to kill it because lobby groups and that, for the package trade with so many people ordering online, that's very lucrative now. But the thing they're not accounting for is the letters, because most of those services will not handle letters.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing that people don't realize, who may favor UPS or FedEx or something like that, is who do you think FedEx and UPS go to when they have like one delivery out in the middle of fucking nowhere?
Yeah, well,
they transfer it over to the post office who delivers it.
Yeah, where I was living in the small town, they were using that last mile service.
Sure.
That UPS or FedEx would actually turn it over to the post office to do the local deliveries, because they weren't going to bother with the places, out on the rural routes that somebody's 5 miles out of town. They weren't going to bother with driving a truck out there for one delivery.
So I guess those people don't get mail or deliveries anymore.
Well, it's not all settled yet. But the Congress, they're not in session right now, are they?
Not right now. I'm not sure when they're coming back.
That's why they're doing it now. Pelosi should call a special session. Get back in here. We got to take care of this motherfucker.
Yeah.
God damn. Oh. I hope he loses so fucking bad. I don't want him to just lose. I want him to be humiliated.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, his base is always going to be there for him. Hello.
What's up? How is everyone tonight?
Who dat?
Atheist veteran. What's up?
Yeah, I can see that. Who is that though?
It's Rob.
Oh, okay.
All right, you want first name, last name? You want social security number, PIN number? Anything else?
Yeah, I could use a social security number, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
We can always have
Yeah,
use an extra
I'll
one.
give it to you.
222-665555.
So what are we doing? We talking shit about Trump? I'm down.
Well, about what
Yeah.
they're doing to the post office specifically.
Oh yeah. I love Trump's little new scheme to get another 4 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sad when your political party realizes that the more people who vote, the least likely they are to vote for you. That says a lot about your party.
Yep. Yeah, and that's the thing, that higher voter turnout has always favored the Democrats. The Republicans get in when there's a very low turnout.
Yeah.
Well, that's their biggest fear about allowing Puerto Rico and District of Columbia to have statehood, is that they'll then have to have senators, and the GOP will never have a majority in the Senate again. If that happens, there's no way either the District of Columbia or Puerto Rico is ever going to elect a Republican, especially how they've been treated lately.
Yeah.
Hey, Andre.
Well, this is going to be a very interesting election cycle. I can tell already.
Yeah, it is. We had this campaign going here for the congressional district. Ron Kind is the current congressman. I think he's on his third term, and he's generally well liked. He was in state legislator before and stuff like this. And there was like 4 Republicans who were running, or only 2 of them had enough money to run TV ads, and these 2 ended up running a series of ads in the end where they're competing, and the best thing they could say about themselves is who's meaner than the other one.
Well,
I'm more heartless than this one, so vote for me because I hate people more than he does.
Well, I'm for taking away school lunches. Well, I'm for taking away tents from homeless people.
It's just,
I'm for giving them smallpox.
And of course it wasn't literal like that. They're not saying that kind of thing, but that's basically their message was I'm more horrible than this guy I'm running against. So vote for me.
One man's horrible is another man's political platform.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jenny, you're getting a lot of objections to your name.
Oh, that's too bad.
I wondered about it too.
That's how I feel these days. So what the heck?
I'm lost in this, but I'm gonna assume it's the loser portion of your name.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I
we
think
don't like her putting herself down.
Oh, I thought it was I thought it was the myth part. That somebody thought I got married or something.
Oh, I didn't want to assume. But you're putting yourself in a mind trap. You know what I'm saying? It's like you assume something bad happens, so you see only the bad. Therefore, it's just like this fucking vicious cycle. I used to do it to myself all the time. Although that's because I'm a total piece of shit.
See? Well, I'm not going to let this become a psychoanalyzed Jenny show, but I have issues.
You're fine.
I have issues, and it's actually, I think it's more healthy for me to be doing this than trying to pretend that I'm not anymore. So I actually think it's a good thing.
Well, there's an old saying I used to go by. It's called "embrace the suck." So just embrace it. Yeah, embrace the suck.
Well, that's kind of
Well,
it.
and I can see some healthy aspects, to acknowledging it when you're having problems with things.
Kind of like laughing at yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I'm probably being more sensitive tonight because I'm just aware I'm kind of at a heightened anxiety right now.
Oh
Yeah.
boy, anxiety, so fun.
Anxiety.
Well, I tell you what, I'll be right back.
BRB Holmes. So anyway,
Did you see they're already trying to birth her Kamala? What was her
Yeah.
name? Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
of course they are. Were you expecting any different? They're so predictable.
Well, if they're jumping on that right away, it does make me think they can't find anything legitimate to criticize her for.
There are legitimate shit to criticize her for, but it's because the things that I would criticize Kamala for is something they would praise her for.
Exactly.
Well, that's what I mean. That
was one of those things. Like I laughed at my father earlier today because he posted something about and called Kamala Harris like a far left, a far leftist or a hard leftist or something like that. And I was just like, she's not a far leftist.
It's so incredibly laughable that during this time, this one point in history, where we have riots going on about police brutality and how corrupt the police force is in this country, that we have the guy who running for president is the guy who authored the crime bill, and the former Attorney General of California as his VP. It's kind of a little bit ironic, right?
Yeah. Hello.
I'm back.
Hi.
So anyway, I just ate some Taco Bell. Anybody want to talk about that?
Oh, I like Taco Bell.
Taco Bell's delicious.
What did you have?
I had the grilled cheese burrito.
What the hell is that?
It's a burrito where you just put a bunch of cheese in it. It's like a normal burrito, but with like extra nacho cheese in it.
Oh, that's
For some reason, a little bit spicy too. I never had a spicy grilled cheese, but whatever. I'll do it.
I'm a big fan of Taco Bell's taco salad. I mean, it's so basic.
Oh,
I like the beef, even though it's cat food. I like it. I always get a bean burrito with it and open that up and put the beans in there. Get rid of the tortilla. I wish they would give you the option of corn tortillas. I think corn tortillas are so much better than flour tortillas.
you could probably sell that idea to Taco Bell. Do it. Sell it.
I basically, for a while, after high school, I kind of worked for a Taco Bell, but it was a Taco Bell Express, inside of like
Yep.
a Target or whatnot.
Mhm.
And I basically invented the double layer burrito there.
Hey, Johnny.
So I had something kind of political happen to me. If you guys want to hear it.
Sure.
So I did work for a company that worked inside like a Home Depot, and I had to leave that job because people were not wearing masks inside of the Home Depot. Anybody have any thoughts on that?
I will preface by saying I absolutely hate wearing a mask. I have certain lung and breathing issues, and when I wear a mask, I become very short of breath, and so then that leads to me feeling tired, not being able to walk very well. It leads to me sweating like a pig, and just being extremely uncomfortable. But I will still wear it because it's the right thing to do.
Mhm.
God damn it, the rest of these assholes should get their butts in gear and wear it and stop being such big fucking babies.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, when I was there, I just had to think about my family, and these people were just coming in droves. These anti-maskers, and it's like it's nice to tell someone, hey, get the fuck out. You need to wear a mask. But I'm not that kind of confrontational guy. And knowing Home Depot and how Home Depot tends to operate, I'm just like, yeah, they wouldn't back me up anyway. So
Yeah, I feel bad for the employees because there's a strong chance of somebody getting violent if you confront them with it.
that too. It's like I don't need to be getting in a fight over someone not wearing a mask. Fuck that.
Yeah.
I don't get paid enough.
Yeah, and then here, even though there's a state mandate, I go to the stores and it's like, yeah, at least a third of the people, if not half, aren't wearing them. And it's like they'll wear them to get through the door and then they'll pull them off when they're inside.
Yeah. And some of the employees too.
I have to admit that I sometimes cheat, that I will, and it's only partial cheating. I'll grab like the bottom of the mask and I will pull it away on my intake, on my inhale, so that I get the cool air instead of the humid air that you've been rebreathing. And then I'll close it up for the exhale, which is the most important part. So,
yeah,
Well,
it's not just that. It's just also showing me, it's like, hey, you're being considerate. You actually put lives over convenience. It's like I gotta go home and give my wife and my kids COVID-19 because you were just. It's too inconvenient for you to walk around for 20 minutes at Home Depot and get your goddamn fucking light bulb or fucking, garden shit and then walk out. I mean, how?
Yeah.
It just shows how selfish people are. And it's what really pissed me the fuck off is that I had to fucking sit there for $15 an hour, which was way more than most Home Depot employees. For $15 an hour and sit there and have this motherfucker come in and fucking stand there in my face without a fucking mask and risk not only my safety, but the safety of my family and the people around me. Because mind you, I go to stores and I breathe on shit and I'm nice enough to wear a mask, but still, that's not the point. The point is it's contagious and I don't want to spread it to anyone else.
I'm one of those people who would probably die if I caught it because of my heart and lung issues.
Yeah, well, and that's I realized for me it's probably not as big an issue, but I know for a lot of the people in the building I live in, it would be a lot more serious. So just for me to bring it in the building would be very irresponsible. I've got to do what I can.
Well, I really appreciate everybody who does bother to wear them. It's such a small request.
Yeah,
it's just
it's like well, asking them to wear a shirt or underwear. It's like, well, it's my right. It's like, so you don't have, you understand, when you walk into a business, you don't have specific rights per se, because that business doesn't have to let you in. It's like no shirt, no shoes, no mask. I don't understand why it's such a controversy. If the business doesn't want you coming in without a mask, don't come in without a mask. Plus, I'm diabetic, and I'm in that percentile too. It sucks ass.
And to think that our supposed leader, our president, caused this. I mean, he's the fucker who caused this. Not only by dragging their heels and making the virus worse than it had to be, but then to actually be like the number one anti-masker.
Yeah, with his level of visibility.
You irresponsible little
not necessary. Yeah.
Well, he also gives legitimacy to people like Alex Jones and fucking, and all these other fucking conspiracy theorists, fucking lunatics. Like, it's so when they say something, they fall for it because Trump said that Alex Jones is reputable, but he's not. But if I bet you if Trump came out and said, "Hey, don't listen to that idiot Alex Jones. He's a fucking moron," and Rush Limbaugh is a racist, people will be like, "Oh, he's a racist," and Alex Jones is a moron. So I'm sure a good number of them probably wouldn't. But
well, yeah, I mean, just look what he's done for some of the big mainstream newspapers and that, he says the Washington Post is fake news, so people just don't pay attention to it anymore.
Has anyone even heard of Breitbart since Trump became president? I've never heard of them until Trump became president.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of them many times. Many times.
Yeah.
Way back into the Bush days.
They used to just be more quiet about their operations. Now they're much more emboldened by it. But yeah, they had been buying up a lot of newspapers and TV stations for decades.
Some people are finally getting smart to what's going on. The Hillary Clinton way back, 20-some, maybe 30 years ago, was talking about the great right-wing conspiracy, and everybody, ha ha ha, well, you're paranoid, oh, you're so full of shit. And it's like, no, she's right. It was there then, it's here and there now.
Yeah.
And finally, you people are beginning to see that it's there. When the rest of us who are actually politically active have known about it for 30 years, but you wouldn't fucking listen to us.
No.
And now it's
in a way,
hand.
it's rather similar to the virus that, yeah, if people had taken the warning before, it couldn't have grown to the state it's at now.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just sick to death of the hypocrisy of these people, that everything is horrible bad if it comes out of the left, and they do the exact same thing and it's perfectly acceptable. That the left wing is nothing but criminals and rapists and pedophiles and blah blah blah, but it's their ranks that actually produce those people. And it's okay if it's their people that can be these terrible things. I'm sick of the anti-science attitude of these people. It's embarrassing for the entire planet, really, but especially our country, that these people have such power, and combined with such complete ignorance.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've been saying, is that these people who say the government can't make you wear a mask, they'd go ballistic if a woman went to a store topless.
Well, they're also the same people that want to regulate your body too, Yep. It's like the government can't make you wear a mask, but it can make you not have an abortion or whatever fucking crazy bullshit they want to do.
Oops.
Well, my pet peeve is their anti-transgender attitudes and efforts to have us exterminated. I'm a little tired of that one.
Well, it's fucking ridiculous that we're still having this conversation about, oh, I don't like transgender people. I don't like this and that. It's like, come on, just fucking, it's 2020. When are these people gonna fucking die already? I mean, seriously, can you just fucking kick the bucket, please? I'm a little harsh.
I do not disagree with you.
Yeah. Well, when I was a kid, I remember growing up and people telling me, it's like, you don't judge other people. You don't judge other people. And so I grew up with that mentality, but apparently that was a rare thing to learn.
But it wasn't. I mean, I grew up in the Christian church, and every fucking week the sermon was something that had to do with do unto others or judge not lest ye be judged, and all these great Sermon on the Mount kind of platitudes. But that's the part that they just don't want to talk about these days. That, well, we're just going to pretend all that didn't exist, and we're only going to go after this punitive stuff from Leviticus and Deuteronomy, and we're going to specialize in hating people, not helping people.
Yeah. They love picking apart Leviticus. They love picking and choosing. It's like when you bring up anything else from Leviticus, they're like, oh, no, that's the Old Testament. We're following the New Testament. But when it comes time to hate the gays and transgenders, they'll quote Leviticus so fast.
Yeah, well,
That's
Transgender isn't in the Bible anywhere.
They'll still do it.
when I was 14, I decided I was going to read the Bible cover to cover. And yeah, it was very definitely when I got into Leviticus that I was like, no, there's no way I can follow this. That was it. I was having nothing to do with any Bible religion from there forward.
I mean, people don't realize Leviticus actually tells you that disabled people are not allowed in the church.
Yes, that was the specific verse that really ticked me off. Because I was like, aren't these the people who would need God's help the most?
Now, fuck that. God got too much to do to be worrying about Billy and his crippled legs.
Well, God crippled them to begin with, it, you know? God's will.
You stop with your logic, okay? We'll have none of that in our fucking church, okay? We ain't gonna be no damn logic in this church. The only thing that we're gonna have is hating gays and giving us some monies. Was it a little too spot on?
No, that was pretty accurate. And then the whole Noah's flood bullshit. You know, it's like, no, none of this is true. None of this can happen this way. This does not work. None of it. Where did all the water go? Okay, where did it go? you flood a planet. It's not like you can just flush it down.
I remember I was watching G-Man and Von Helton try to explain this. They try to say that the flood was the Ice Age. And they're like, well, that's where all the water came from. And and then it got frozen over. And we're like, but the Ice Age has been proven to happen like millions of years ago.
No, the Ice Age ended about 10 to 15,000 years ago.
Okay, 10 to 15,000. See, even my knowledge is shitty on this, but regardless, it wasn't like fucking 6,000 years ago where the Earth apparently was created.
Right.
You know.
And how did Noah get those penguins up from Australia?
You mean koalas?
No, I meant kangaroos and duck-billed platypuses and all those nasty huntsman spiders and
yeah. The best argument I found on that line is the sloth from South America. The sloth has a maximum speed of like 6 miles an hour and has to sleep a minimum of 18 hours a day.
Sounds like my kind of animal.
So at that rate, how long does it take to get from South America to the Middle East?
Oh, please tell me.
I don't know. I haven't done the calculation, but you know,
I mean,
it needs a lot of lead time.
This is the same people that said it took 40 days to travel from Egypt to fucking Israel. I mean, if you do the math, it never makes sense. It never does. Because, you know,
Where's
this
the
might be a
sloth
news
from?
flash to some of y'all, but it's not real.
Sloth
Never
just picked somewhere in the middle of the Amazon rainforest. That's close enough
Just say from
approximation.
somewhere in Brazil.
Why did Noah decide to save spiders? What a dick.
Well, spiders are everywhere. You're never more than 5 feet away from a spider.
Yeah. But
Okay.
all the crappy animals, why did you save those? Like the little fish that goes up your urethra. Why did Noah think that was a good idea to save? Unless he was into some kinky shit.
Okay,
Yeah.
so are we assuming the land? How would a sloth have gotten from South America?
Let's pretend there's a land or a bridge between Nova Scotia, Greenland, Iceland to Europe. They just cross the bridge. Let's just pretend.
Well, I was thinking more the land bridge between Alaska and Russia there.
Okay, so you want us to go to, let's see.
Yeah, so basically they've got to go from Brazil to Alaska, and then they've got to go the entire width of Asia.
Or you could just do it. Or you could just do a Google as the crow flies line between Turkey and South America, and we'll just pretend. since the whole tail is just pretend.
Well, I'm trying to. Let's see. Okay, let's put this as the other location, Wales, because that's this. Oh, this is not like when I try and go from the middle of Brazil. Sorry, we couldn't calculate biking directions from Wales, Alaska to Conference state of blah in Brazil. Okay, but sloths only walk 0.24 kilometers per hour.
0.24.
Mm-hmm.
Do, 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 do.
Are we trying to do like a math thing? Trying to figure this out?
Yeah, because we're looking to waste time and all that
Well,
kind of stuff.
actually, if you want to give them credit, they actually can swim. I don't really see them swimming across an ocean, but theoretically,
They would be easy food for shark.
yeah,
Yeah, they sound like lunch to me.
they actually are surprisingly good swimmers, though.
Oh, fuck. I lost my internet.
And actually, there was a period in the paleo history that sloths actually filled the niche that like seals and sea lions fill now, before the marine mammals evolved.
Maybe they hitched a ride on a whale. Aunt Jer.
Well, there we go.
I mean, that's a possibility, I guess.
Yeah, we'll go with the Jonah story that the some of the great whales just operated a taxi service to bring the animals from other continents.
There we go. I think we solved it. The whales were God's taxis.
Yeah, the whales just went and swallowing up all these animals all over the world.
Okay,
and spit them out
all right.
in the
I'm
Middle East.
just going to assume it's 10,000 miles. Let's just get this math done. Let's make a few guesses.
Yeah, she just proved God, Andrew.
Right.
I'm
Okay. Yep. The
convinced.
whole atheist community can go away now.
Dude, it feels so much freer for me to accept Jesus Christ into my heart, knowing that God whales were the answer this whole time.
Giant fish. It wasn't aliens. It was giant fish.
Whales aren't fish; they're mammals.
Not according to the Bible.
Well, damn.
Whales
Right.
are fish
Got
and
me.
bats are birds.
Got me.
Bats or birds? Is that what you said?
Yep.
They
Okay.
are. They're cute little winged birds.
I lost my internet.
Oh.
They're
Did you
updating.
find it?
They're updating the system, and I'm going to be down for a while. So I'm on phone right now.
Oh no.
Well, do you have an unlimited data plan, or is that going to get expensive for you?
It's unlimited. All right, let's try this again. 16. Now, how fast did they walk? 0.2 kilometers?
Yeah.
0.2 kilometers.
I
Yeah,
wonder if this is on Iron Chariots.
Okay, so that's 80,000 units. 80,000 hours. 80,000 hours. And they get to travel for 6 hours a day. So divided by 6 equals. So that's 13,333.3333 kilometers a day.
well, did you account that for when they're walking through the United States, it's imperial hours and the rest of it's metric hours.
I don't fucking care. Yeah, it would take them a few lifetimes. They would have to breed several times on the way.
Yep.
Well, I'm satisfied. I'm going to change my name to the Christian Veteran. Did you carry the one? No, we did not.
Oh boy.
Yep. So Kamala Harris is the VP now. That's interesting. Little copula.
Yeah, I don't really know much about her, actually.
She was my AG for a little bit.
There's a lot of folks who don't like her because she was a DA and that's a cop, and so all cops are bad.
Well, no, it's not. It's not that. She did some shady shit as a fucking as the Attorney General of California. There was times where she withheld evidence that would keep. One case, she withheld evidence that kept someone from leaving their lifetime sentence. There was another case. She didn't prosecute Steve Mnuchin when she had a chance. There was lots of shady dealings between her and the police union. It you know, but you know that's to be expected in politics, really. And and like you look at every attorney general in every state, I'm sure there's something you could fucking dig up on them.
Well, every DA out there has to wheel and deal sometime, somewhere, somehow. That's just the nature of a clogged system.
Yeah, but the thing people are most upset about is the thing that's brought up the most is the tardy situation where if the kid was tardy to school, the parents would be sent to jail. It wasn't like if they were tardy one time; it was like after several times. That was a little bit of the controversial, a bit of the controversy with Kamala as California's AG.
Well, she didn't write the law. She only has the responsibility of enforcing it. And she's not even the one who arrests them. She's the one who prosecutes once the police give it to her.
Well, I
Go
can
ahead.
see the issues with if she was withholding evidence. That would be a pretty serious thing for that position.
Yeah, that certainly
That
would
if
be.
the defending attorney did not have access to the same evidence she had.
But
Yeah.
if this occurred and it was serious as people are putting it out to be now, how come we didn't hear about it when it happened? And how come she didn't lose her ass out of office and end up with her ass in jail herself?
Well,
It's,
if she's a state's attorney general, I can understand that there's a good chance no one outside of the state would have heard about it. Just because news agencies outside of the state probably didn't care.
I'm just very, very leery of the cancel culture today.
Yeah.
People are so unforgiving of politicians not being allowed to be human anymore.
Yeah, I keep seeing this thing pop up on Facebook occasionally that with a quote of something that she said in 2009. And then something she said in 2020, and they're trying to call it hypocrisy, and I'm like, it's 11 years. A lot can happen in 11 years, and people's opinions can change.
Yeah.
I would rather have a politician whose opinion changes because they learn and grow than somebody who's an automaton and can never change their attitudes. That's called a Republican.
Yeah. It's mostly a very religious mindset that people, feel their views on important matters can never be changed.
And I have lots of reasons, theoretically, to hate her, with the fact that people she had tried or prosecuted and were found guilty ended up in prison, a male prison, even though they were a transgender person. Well, I have a lot of questions about that. You can't just say that they were transgender. There's stages of the transition that people go through. There's the legitimacy of whether or not they are. There's people who definitely have claimed it, so thinking that they're going to get out of a sentence, that does happen. You just can't say that. And again, she didn't write that law; she had to enforce it. And the DA can't stand there and decide who goes to which prison. Once they're convicted, they become the responsibility of the prison system, and you just can't control that stuff. Don't hold the wrong person accountable for these sorts of things. And even if she did feel that she didn't want to do that and wanted to protest that these people are sent to the wrong prison, all she can do is protest. She can't change it. She can bring it to light and insist that it be changed, but if the powers that be in the structure they have doesn't want to do it, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, and there is a lot to that you see in political discussions, that people wind up bringing things up that the person, just their position didn't give them any authority over. So yeah, you can't really hold them responsible for something that they really did not have the authority to change.
It's one of those weird things to talk about when you talk about like prosecuting and defending someone. It's like, how many times have we seen? It's a weird thing. It's like, it's really shitty that if someone spent time in prison, if they're not guilty, but at the same time, how many times have we watched someone get off on a simple technicality when there's like they literally admit to the crime, or they were literally caught on the scene, but because one little technical thing was done wrong, they get off. And then you see a case where they really think they've got the right person, and it's a rambly thought. I don't think it makes a lot of.
I think I kind of get where you're going. And
the system is broken and needs to make lots of very, very important changes, like number one being for-profit prisons. But I'm not going to hold the wrong person accountable. The system is responsible for what the system is doing, and the system needs to be changed. It's not one person's fault. And especially when you look at the importance of this election, to be standing there and trying to find reasons why somebody shouldn't be elected to it, when no matter how bad they have shown themselves to be to this point, they're not standing up there saying execute all the gays and lesbians and transgender people. They're not standing up there and saying throw all the black people out of public housing. They're not Republicans. They're not as horrible as the people who are in power right now. And then it's a question of which evil is less evil. Okay, fine. If that's it, if that's all we got right now, then pick the one who's less evil.
Yeah.
Don't support the one who is.
Yeah, I hate that our system is, set up that that's the only choice we've got. But it's like, I've said I can't give anyone a good reason to vote for Biden, but I will vote for whoever's listed as the Democrat just because it's the only realistic chance of getting rid of Trump.
Protest votes do nothing. They do absolutely nothing to help your cause of wanting to protest a two-party system. The only thing that's going to change the two-party system is the two-party system itself. It was had 200 and some odd 50 years of being able to customize the system for its own benefit. You're not going to change it by putting some vote in some election thinking that you're standing up for somebody who's pure at heart. which
Yeah,
doesn't
well, and
exist.
some
Well, the thing
people,
is that they if they really want to break the two-party system, they have to start at the local level, and they have to start well before the presidency. Like,
Yep.
they had this weird idea that, oh, if I can get a green president in, things will change. It's like, no. If you want the Green Party in, you've got to vote for Green Party candidates at every level before that. You've got to get them into place, and then you have a chance of having a Green Party president. But
Yeah.
just trying to vote for somebody who's the Green Party or an independent, it's not going to work.
Well, the problem, in my opinion, is that people play for a fucking team. It's people look down the ballot and they go, is there a D next to a name? And if there is, they check it, or if is there R next to the name, if there's a check it. But the problem is they don't know the specific policies of their local officials. They don't know I doubt most people in my county could tell you who their town council members are. And it's kind of pathetic because I see more action and more policies that involve me on the local level happening at town council meetings than at a national level. I see my roads get fixed at the town council level. I see I see local businesses get approved for fucking for operating in our town at the local level. I even seen a marijuana dispensary denied access to a building in our town at the local level, even though it's legal in my state. But because the town council is so fucking conservative, they don't allow stuff like that. So because people just don't, they just vote next to it. They just check next to the R or D, and they don't, even though if they fucking support, marijuana, they're voting against their own interests because they don't know who they're voting for. But the people at the federal level, they're not really working for you. They're really not. How many breaks does Congress take a year? I mean, seriously, we're in the middle of a pandemic and they're on fucking summer vacation right now. How much does President Trump golf a year? They're not doing jack shit for you. The people at the local level will do that shit for you. And that's all I'll say about that, Jenny.
well, and that's actually the way the system is supposed to work. That you're supposed to, let your local officials know what you want, and they're supposed to kind of move it up the line through the state legislature, and the state legislators are supposed to tell your Congress people what they're supposed to do.
And sure, yes, California also distributes voter guides, but the problem is a lot of people don't fucking read them because a lot of people don't like reading. They need shit fucking read to them. That's why people go to the church.
Yeah, well, and those voter guides, they're not written for a normal person, as far as I understand, or as far as I remember. I've been out of California for a while. But I remember getting them when I lived in California, and it just looked like technical mumbo jumbo to me, but that was like in the early 2000s. So,
well, there are a lot of private organizations that will print up voter guides, and I think those are generally better for people to understand the issues. But of course, each of those is going to have their own particular slant. So,
well, right,
it's kind of important to, it's kind of important then that you read at least one from each side, to have ones that have different slants to them.
Yeah. But even if it is like a bunch of technical mumbo jumbo, at least open the motherfucking thing. At least try, That's all I ask is you try. Is you just don't go into a voter booth and just fucking just check down the line. Try to be informed.
Well, and especially when it gets up to somebody who's, even the state legislature, but especially a federal office, that by that time, they should have had a good history in politics, that you should be able to look back on what did they vote for in the previous years to really know what they support.
Yep. Well, it's not even about voting for. I mean, usually at the town council level, you might know someone. You might know them. You'll definitely have an opportunity to ask them some questions if you go to one of their town halls.
Yeah.
If you have that opportunity, it's a lot easier. It's not like here in California where none of the candidates will ever show up to do a town hall or do a speech or whatever. But at least at my local level, I can get those answers. I could talk to them. So yeah, you could do that if you're unsure about something, or you just fucking, maybe Google some of the shit that they put out. Try that.
And I think too that a lot of times part of the problem with the current political discourse is that there's no charity given. Like I've seen people posting about this that or the other, and they just spin it in such a malicious and inaccurate way that it's like, how can you believe that people actually think this?
Joe Biden wants you to hand over your baby. Joe Biden wants to give it meth. Kamala Harris said she hates puppies.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's just have you seen that ad that came out right after Kamala Harris fucking was announced to VP? She's too far left. I'm like, I wish. I fucking wish she was.
They wouldn't know the far left if it smacked them in the face.
Dude, it's fucked up. Our far left is like most other countries, like center.
Yeah. Yeah, what are considered our far left candidates would be centralist in most countries.
It's like, oh man, I gotta go bankrupt because my medical bill. You say that in like any other country, they'll be like, what the fuck is a medical bill?
Yep.
I lost my house and everything I own because of no insurance when I had a heart attack.
Yeah. Fucking medical bankruptcy is a huge problem in this country. It's
the majority of bankruptcies in the United States are because of medical bills.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's the number one cause of personal bankruptcy.
And the majority of those people who are losing it because of medical bills had insurance at the time.
Yeah. And it's fucking disgusting. It's fucking disgusting. How and especially during a pandemic where at least 20% of the population is out of work. So now we're going to have to deal with evictions. We're going to have to deal with people who can't pay their mortgage. It's just going to be a huge clusterfuck of, on top of the pandemic, on top of a fucking, what we're about to be in a depression if we're not already. We're fucking screwed. And you know what? I bet you Trump's numbers, they're starting to go up. They are. So it's starting to look a little closer to Hillary 2016. And I fucking hate saying that. I want to vote. I want to be like, yay, Kamala, yay, fucking Biden. But it's looking like it could go Trump's way again, especially if he pulls off this fucking mailing scam that he's got going on.
Yep, it could.
We might have another 4 years, so buckle the fuck up.
Oh, yeah, it's still too close to call at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it was looking good, but, with Trump, no lead is safe because he'll do whatever it takes to fucking win.
And unfortunately, a big problem the Democrats have is there's been a lot of cases where it looks like the Democratic candidate has a good lead in the polls. So then a lot of people decide that, it's decided. It doesn't really matter if I show up to vote.
Mm-hmm. The most annoying tendency in voting that I hear about all the time, that people, when you talk to them about who you're going to vote for, and they're undecided, they'll come up with the brilliant line, I will vote for so and so because I think he's going to win.
Oh wow! So before I ask this question, can I ask a quick question of you guys? Do any of you live in a swing state?
I currently live in Minnesota, but I'm from Wisconsin.
Yeah, you're a swing state. So, what about you, Pirate Kid? You live in a swing state?
Nope, I'm in a red state.
Red state, okay.
I can't remember the colors.
No, yeah, I'm in Minnesota also, and Minnesota is pretty much Democratic most of the time, so it's not really a swing state.
So let me explain why I asked that question. The only one here whose vote really counts is Jenny. That's it. I live in a blue
No,
state.
I live in Minnesota, and I probably am not going to be allowed to vote.
Oh wow, that's fucked up.
Wait, why are you not going to be allowed to vote?
Because I can't register to vote because I do not have access to my driver's license from Minnesota, and I can't get a driver's license from Minnesota because I don't have access to my birth certificate. And even if I did, it doesn't have the correct name
Okay.
on it. And this is all because of Jim Sensenbrenner's real ID law that he put through back after 9/11.
I would check on that because
Oh,
in
I
Minnesota, you don't actually need to have a driver's license to vote.
No,
You
but
just
you
need
have to
proof
have a
of-
you have to have a birth certificate if you don't have a
Holy
license.
It's not like that at all here in California. All I gotta do is just have my
Yeah,
name and my address.
that's not what I was getting either. That you need some kind of ID and you need proof of address, but the proof of address can be just bringing in a utility bill.
Well, my Wisconsin driver's license is still valid, so I have that as ID, but I need to have a birth certificate.
I don't think so. I think if you take your Wisconsin driver's license and your utility bill to prove your current address, I'm pretty sure you would be able to get an absentee ballot at your courthouse.
Well, it's probably worth a drive to Caledonia to find out.
Can I just point out how fucked up it is that we're even having this conversation?
Yeah.
We got a U.S. citizen that's got to fucking jump through a shit ton of hoops 3 months for an election that's 3 months from now.
Yeah,
You know-
I'm going to
you
have the
know
same
really-
problem.
You know
Because
what really gripes me about it is my family has a written, recorded history in history books, official history books of the state of Wisconsin, that our family goes back to the 1700s here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And how fucked up is that?
Pretty damn
And
fucked up.
for the people who are going to fucking be making the laws, and 3 months isn't enough for you to get that shit done. There should be someone you can contact, especially if there's 3 months notice saying, hey, I'm going to be voting. You need to fucking verify that I'm me and have me put on a fucking list so I can vote. Because we do that shit in California, and I don't even ask them to do it. I don't even need like proof of my address. I just fucking tell them, hey, it's Robert. So, last name. I'm not giving you all of my last name because fuck y'all. Anyway, it's Robert last name. This is my address. And I fucking tell them my address and they check me off on a fucking list. I don't understand what's so fucking difficult about that. Oh, wait. Yeah, I do. It's because they want to suppress the fucking vote. And whether it's a blue state or a red state or it's wrong in whatever color state that you're in, if 3 months is not enough for you to fucking get out there and get your shit, registered because you got to jump through a shit ton of hoops, there's something fucking wrong. There is something wrong.
I started working on this, and a week after I started working on it, the virus happened.
Yeah.
And it's been totally stalled since.
Yeah. On top of it, there's a pandemic, so that throws another fucking hoop in front of you. That's fucking bullshit. But you know what? It works out for the Republicans because the less people vote, the more likely it is your state's going to go their way.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Diana. You want to jump in?
Diana? Lavender Diana?
Yep. She's in the side chat.
Oh, come on in, honey.
Bless you.
No, that was just kind of a hiccup.
Oh.
I couldn't tell what it was. Sounded like a cross between a hiccup and a burp.
I thought it was a burp.
It was you're right, actually, Kitty. It was
But,
kind of.
yeah.
I was so confused. I'm like, I'm not so confused, I'm just there.
That's
a proper burp.
That's a proper burp.
I've also been thinking about that, the whole bless you thing, and it really seems to me that when somebody sneezes, instead of bless you, you should say I forgive you, especially in the COVID.
I don't like apologizing for normal human function.
No, yeah, I don't think people should need to for.
I mean, I will do my best to not fart in a public situation just because it's rude. It smells terrible. Nobody likes it.
Yeah,
But I'm not going to apologize if I can't help it. Well, I will. I'll do the superficial. I apologize. Sorry, I couldn't help it. But I'm sure not going to feel guilty about it. This is what humans do, and animals too, and dogs and cats and cows and horses. We all fart.
the cows are just doing it to kill us off from the planet.
Well, yeah. We have this farm up here that is an organic farm, and they have like 60 acres or something like that, or 600. I'm sorry, 600 acres, and they have. I don't know what they officially call it. They had some kind of really cool greenish kind of name, but they let the cows out in springtime and don't do anything with them till fall. And they feed themselves and water themselves and take care of themselves as though they're wild animals out in their pastures. It's a combination of pastures and woods and groves and of fruit trees and stuff like that. But it's an all natural area, and that's how they deal with their cows and their pigs. And these things grow up to be completely healthy. They're not given any antibiotics or growth hormones or anything. They get twice as much for the meat, the price on their meat, because it's so goddamn good. They can't raise the same kind of density as a factory cow farm.
Yeah, you need a lot more land for that, but it's definitely far better for the animals.
It's just so amazing to take these domesticated animals and they figure it out and become their natural self all over again. It's really pretty cool, pretty damn cool.
Well, yeah, I can see. If you've got the space for it, the only problem with that would be keeping the predators away from them.
Yeah.
Because you said it's like partially a wooded area, so I'm sure that they've got wolves and even the occasional cougar around there.
Well, if you've seen films of wildebeest in Africa in the savannas, they defend themselves. They defend their young. Well, so do cows. they do their own security as best they can.
Well, yeah, a kick from those hooves can kill you.
I wanted to go blueberry picking. It's blueberry season up here too, but I can't walk that far anymore.
Yeah, I like strawberry picking, but I didn't get a chance to find out anything this year.
That was June, and black raspberries are coming. But blueberries, fucking numb. You could pick like a couple of gallons of those things in no time. It would probably only cost you about $20-25. And they're so easy to take care of. You just wash them, dry them on a towel and then toss them in the freezer. Laid out, not in a bag, so they freeze individually.
Well, that was one of the little perks about when I was working landscaping was that, we had wild berry patches all over. So just through the summer, I'd be able to wind up picking handfuls of berries as I was going.
And they had to cancel the world's biggest cranberry festival up in Warren, which isn't too far from here. About 50 miles tops. Because of, the virus, of course.
Yeah. Have you seen the stuff going on in Sturgis?
Yeah, I kind of figured that was going to happen.
Oh yeah, it was a given.
What happened?
So they've got crowds. Would they get something like 250,000 people showing up, and it's like you look at the pictures, and it's pretty hard to find a mask anywhere.
Oh fuck! For fuck's sake! We're never. This pandemic's going to go on way longer than it should.
Well, and especially the Sturgis thing, because you've literally got people from every state in the U.S. that are all crowding together, and they're all going to go back home.
You know, I would love to say, you know, it's like, oh, well, you know, hopefully these people, you know, get it and thin out the herd. But the problem is they don't just get it for themselves; they spread it to everyone else.
Yeah, the problem is they're going to spread it to a couple hundred other people when they go home.
Yeah, it's the same people who sit in church and fucking think, you know, God's gonna fucking protect me. I'm gonna be washed in the blood of Jesus, and then go home and spread it to their kids, and then they want the schools reopen so their infected kids can give it to my kids, and then my kids can give it to me. You know, it's just a shit cycle. It's a huge shit cycle that these people are perpetuating. You can't fucking win because these people are too stupid to realize that, hey, germs spread. You know, something you learn in fucking first grade. Germs spread. Cover your fucking mouth when you cough. Wash your hands when you use the fucking bathroom. That shit is just too complicated for them, apparently.
Yeah, you know, if people had taken this seriously, we wouldn't be where we are now. You know, if people had just, for a couple of months, stayed home as much as they could, wore the mask whenever they could, you know, it wouldn't have spread to the level it's at now.
Well, it's too inconvenient for them. It's fucking, you know, too uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You make their lives uncomfortable. They want to revolt, and they'll find any excuse to. They'll make up some stupid fucking conspiracy theory like 5G to blame it on instead of fucking taking some personal responsibility and wearing a fucking mask when they go out, or, you know, staying the fuck home. Sorry, I'm going on a little bit of a tangent, but this shit cost me my job.
No, unfortunately, I think that's most of the problems with the U.S. boil down to people don't want to take personal responsibility for anything anymore.
Well, and then the hypocrisy that drives me nuts comes in because they say, well, I'm being personally responsible for this, to not wear a mask. It's my responsibility. You know,
how convenient that it's your responsibility to have the most comfortable position in all of society, that you don't have to wear a fucking mask. How fucking super convenient.
Yeah.
Hey, let's change the subject.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so we got two boys here. Kitty, you can maybe chime in for your boyfriend, if you know any of the answers, or if you think he'd feel okay with you discussing that.
Okay, you're assuming I'm going to know the answers, but
or that you're willing to discuss it. And if you're not, don't. Do any of you guys shave? I mean, I'm not talking face, but your whole body, all your body hair off.
I've tried it, didn't like it.
I have done it sometimes, yes.
Too scratchy for me.
Yeah, the biggest problem is the couple of days when it starts growing back in. That can get really irritating.
Just seems weird to me, but you know.
Yeah, I have no opinion either way. What made you decide to try it?
I had friends that would talk about it and like how beneficial it is. I don't know. It's so long ago, I don't even remember what they were saying was beneficial about it. But they were saying, you know, they were talking about it, so I decided to try it. It was just too scratchy, and I was like, yeah, I think I'll enjoy not itching everywhere.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, ¿cómo estás?
How you doing, honey?
It's the poo-poo. Many much the poo-poo.
You know, every week when we're getting ready pre-show for the movie night, everybody still asks, is Diana coming tonight?
Yeah, man. I tell you, if I could figure out how to stay awake all the way through, I'd be there more often.
Coffee, just like the rest of us.
Oh man!
Wait a minute. Coffee?
What's that?
I developed a tolerance to that stuff at the age of 6.
So skip the coffee. Just go straight for the caffeine pills. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, I thought, for a movie night, we need something like caffeinated whiskey, don't we?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know. I thought there was something like that. Well, Irish coffee, but
yeah, I was just gonna say Irish coffee.
Aunt George says cocaine like the rest of us.
There you go. I was hearing
85.
Oh my! I was hearing the talk about voting, and now I'm wondering about shit and everything else again. Because, well, Kate and I were talking a couple of weeks ago about this sort of thing, and I was under the impression that here in Pennsylvania, anyway, I didn't have to do anything about a real ID-enabled driver's license because I hold a valid passport. But she's telling me that I have to do it. I don't know where she's getting her information from, but let's assume it's valid. Now at this point, I'm not sure what I have to do.
And the requirements will vary not only from state to state, but sometimes even from county to county within a state. What they expect you to show at the polling place.
Well, on top of it, it might change in between now and then too.
Yeah.
So, good luck.
Yeah. Now,
I know about Minnesota because I was looking into it because I still have a Michigan driver's license. Because
obviously,
the license, I have to take the test, and the DMV has been closed since March.
Yep. Yeah, that's going to be a whole shitload of fun, isn't it? But
I did finally get the license plates on my car, though, because the deputy register was able to step in and take care of those things for people.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
You can get car license from regardless of your driver's license status. They're separate.
Yeah.
Yeah, but right now, Pennsylvania is not yet required to comply with the real ID AGFU. It was supposed to be this coming October, but because of the cerveza virus, it's going to be allegedly October of 21. So, I mean, I've got a little bit of wiggle room here, but I still want to know what the hell I'm required to do. What do they want of me? Is that, I mean, my valid passport, is that going to be enough for me to do? Now, this, I'm not asking you guys. I mean, this is rhetorical questions and everything. But is my valid passport going to be enough, or am I going to have both? And
Long before we see TSA at the voting booth. I was like, it's not going to be long before the voting booth is going to be like the TSA lines.
Oh yeah.
We need you to take off your shoes. You have your belt. Have your passport ready. We're gonna need you. There's like check inside your asshole real quick.
Yeah.
Well, Diana, if you don't mind me asking, and of course you can choose to not answer. What is your status, gender marker wise, on all your forms and?
Stuff? I have my F. The only place I don't have an F is my birth certificate because Ohio refuses to do that.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
yeah, I mean, my passport, I have my F. My driver's license, I have my F. Everywhere else, I have my F. Now, I hope that that's going to be enough in the new climate, but
nobody ever. A birth certificate is not a valid form of ID in most places. So, like, as long as you've got it on your name badge,
wait a minute. I don't understand this because number one, I thought the birth certificate was who you are, and to get any other stuff. I mean, for example, when I got my driver's license, I had to show my birth certificate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, both in Ohio. That's an indirect form of identification. Then,
it's the key document that everything else is based on.
Yeah,
that doesn't necessarily mean it's like ID. I can't use my social security card for ID.
Oh, right, right. As much as people use it for identity, it was never intended to be an ID card. It is not valid as an ID card, and any use of it as an ID card is actually not kosher. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Social Security card.
That's what I was saying. Was like, you can't go to the bank and then, well, maybe I don't know about that.
Well, for example, I opened a bank account recently,
Mhm.
which is going to be really interesting when it comes to recertify for things like PA welfare and Section 8. They're going to look at me and, why do you have two checking accounts? And, well, I just want to keep my hobby separate from my living expenses, which is really what I want. I want to keep Lavender, the Lavender Lady separate from
Yeah.
my
your
rent
personal accounts. Yeah.
and that sort of thing. Yeah, so I don't overspend myself, but that's another story entirely. I had to present my Social Security number in order to get that second set of bank accounts, the checking account and the savings account.
Yeah, because they use your Social Security. I think they use your Social Security card to do a credit check.
That and a tax ID.
Well,
yeah.
for banks,
Yeah.
it's your Social Security number is your tax ID as an individual.
Mhm. Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah. And banks are in the habit of asking for it, but because its use is as a tax ID, if it is an account that does not pay interest, they cannot require it. They only need it for reporting to the IRS. So if they're not reporting to the IRS that they gave you extra money, the Social Security number is not required on the account.
Well, these
That's
accounts that
interesting.
these accounts I just opened are, not only do they pay interest, they're rather lucrative. My credit union, my savings and checking account pays nothing. The share draft.
Yeah.
The savings account pays 8% of 1%, so it's $1 on 10,000 in a year.
Right.
On the other hand, the stuff I opened for the Lavender Lady pays 5% on the savings and pays something on the checking account balance as well. It's less, but I think I was getting something like 2 or 3 cents per month on the next to zero balance I have, because I keep enough in the new checking account to pay for my internet connection and my Google Meet, and that's it. So it's rarely over $150 at a time. So you get 3 cents a month on that. That's lucrative, really. When you come to it.
Yeah, I've got a similar thing. I keep a separate account, which is basically where Sloth Girl and I have just been putting money away as an emergency fund for the car, because it's inevitable that at least once a year the car's going to need some kind of repair that's not part of the normal budget.
Oh yeah. It might lose a wheel or something. Something that never happens, right?
Well, actually, at this point, it needs a whole new set of tires before the snow flies.
Oh boy!
And I just put a new exhaust system on it last week.
Oh yay!
Ouch.
Oh my! Oh my! Oh my!
Go seek out if you can think of and can pull it off financially. A set of pure snow tires, one for each corner. And then
this is going to be interesting.
And then come springtime, a set of just all seasons.
Yeah, unfortunately, then there's the extra cost of swapping them back and forth all the time.
Well, possibly between now and then you can find a set of steel wheels, used steel wheels out of a Bones Yard or something like that.
Actually, I've been looking for a second set of wheels for it last couple of years, because I've been doing that up in Michigan. And it seems finding ones that'll fit that car is a little difficult.
Yeah, Sloth Girl, honey, I think I'm going to have to end up doing the same sort of thing, because if it turns out that I'm going to have to get a real ID as well as my passport, the whole thing is, the name change.
Thank you.
And yay!
Yep.
So,
Well, as I
yes.
understand Real ID, they set it up so that ultimately everyone will have a Real ID, but they've staggered the requirements for which documents are required to have it, or to be verified with it,
Well, when I went
to make
to
it easier on people.
when I went to the PennDOT website to check on what they want, they indicated there that if you held a valid passport, you didn't need to go through the Real ID crap. But I'm getting from other sources that you have to. You're going to have to, and I guess I keep waking up too late to do anything about it. I guess I'm going to have to try to call PennDOT in Harrisburg and see what happens.
You have a standard driver's license, though?
Yes, I do.
Well, as far as the voting requirements and that will be enough. You don't need anything more than that.
Well, it's been enough, but then again, the Real ID hasn't been enforced yet. It's gonna be next year. So I just want to make sure. I mean, there's no chance of me boarding an commercial airliner because I don't like what they do to us.
Right.
When
And
you're doing that.
The Real ID, basically, unless you're getting on an airplane or crossing a border, that's really the only times that they're actually needed.
Well, there is that bit about entering a federal building. Because allegedly you do need to carry a form of identification that they would accept at the door to the federal building in order to get inside.
Yeah, but again, anytime that's come up, just having a standard driver's license has been enough.
Okay.
Yeah, they just wanted a picture ID so that they could verify who you are.
Right, but you see what you're all missing is that part of the Real ID legislation is that all driver's licenses will be Real ID based at some point. Okay, and that all of us, like mine, which expires next year, I believe, or the year after, I will have to replace that with a Real ID based driver's license.
But isn't that just when you replace your ID, they'll upgrade it to the Real ID thing?
Right, but to do that, then you have to have your birth certificate and all these other things in order.
So wait a minute, is a driver's license going to cost $60 to renew now?
I don't think so.
Because here, to upgrade my driver's license to a Real ID, it's going to cost me $30. And it cost me about $30 to get the driver's license as is renewed 3 years ago, or wait a minute, 2 years ago. My driver's license comes up for renewal in 22.
Well, what Wisconsin did, and I'm sure some other states will do it also, because of the complexity and expense of doing the Real ID, they've extended the valid period, the expiration period for them, so that now you're getting it instead of Wisconsin used to be 2 years, 4 years, and now it's 8. And it's more expensive, but it's there for 8 years.
Well, when I read my driver's license, it doesn't say 8 years, so I'm going to assume that it's going on whatever's on that driver's license, because I'm going to pull it out of my little thingy-do over here. And
yeah, the Michigan license was every 4 years.
Okay, here we go. Expires 21 July 2022. So that's the day after my birthday in 22.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
this
I'm
gonna be
actually
real
out of
interesting.
the loop. What is a Real ID?
This is bullshit that they want for so they extra layer of intrusion into knowing who you are and what you are and everything else like that. It's very likely part of a national database.
Okay, but what does that entail? That's what I'm asking.
It's a security thing that was deemed to be necessary after 9/11. The author of the bill was James Sensenbrenner from Wisconsin. I know it because I've met the man personally many times, and I hate him to death. And it's a way of verifying ID of everybody in the country, probably to carry the mark of the beast. But so that they have a base level. We know everybody that has a real ID has this level of vetting. That we know that this person is legitimate. That they've gone through all of our vetting procedures, and so therefore they're at this level. If you're in, it's particularly set up to make life very difficult for immigrants and that sort of thing as well.
Yeah.
It's part of the whole Republican fantasy of all the, to end all the voter fraud that's going on, which of course isn't.
There is no voter fraud going on except by the Republicans, but that's another story entirely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's a real ID is, and it will eventually extend to anything that requires your ID to get it will be a real ID level item or not.
In a word,
Oh.
a real ID is essentially an internal passport.
Okay, so I already have one.
If you have like a driver's license that is certified as real ID by your state, yes.
Yeah, it's got a gold it's got a gold star on it, and that's what it's saying. And I didn't have to pay extra to get this. I just renewed my driver's license, and they sent it to me.
Right, because
on 2017.
Here's the thing with me. Okay, the thing with me is that the date when Pennsylvania is going to enforce the real ID stuff is 1 year before I renew my driver's license. Actually less than a year, but the real ID is enforced in allegedly October 21 now. My driver's license comes up for renewal in July of 22.
See, it's going to be, everybody's going to have to deal with that at some point. If you want to do things like enter a federal building, as Diana mentioned, if you want to take an airplane ride, you're going to have to
even domestically,
right? A real ID. If you want to open a bank account, you're going to have to produce a real ID.
Yeah, works out.
In other words, in one way to look at it is, I would like to see your papers, please.
I'm sorry, all I've got is a pipe.
Yeah, there you go.
Got papers, then you better come with me.
Yes. Yeah, guy in a trench coat and with the machine gun. Let's see here. Okay, there. That. I wish my Bluetooth would work better than it does, so I wouldn't have to deal with this damn cable. Oh well.
Okay. So, anyways, the real ID is only a federal thing, but the states are required to comply with it, and so each state is designing their own method of getting to that point, with the driver's licenses and state IDs and all that kind of stuff. Everyone is different, so it's just a big gigantic mess.
So, because when did you get your ID? Never mind. I was going to ask Diana when you got your ID.
What ID do you mean?
Your driver's license, or your whatever you have. You don't have
my first driver's license I got in
your most recent
1974. My most recent one was 2 years ago when I changed my name.
And it doesn't have a star on it?
No, it is not Real ID enabled. This driver's license was issued 3 May 2018. And no, that's after. Why is this issued 3 May? I changed my name in 2016. What the fuck is going on here? Why did I get a driver's license in May of 18? I don't know. Oh well. Yeah, the little Artie Johnson thing you got going there, Sloth Girl. Yeah. Yeah, you're revealing your age. You know that.
What the Nazi on the tricycle?
Very interesting, but it's stupid. When Artie Johnson
Yes.
would come up from behind the bush, yeah.
Yep.
We have Ronan Martin's laughing every day here. It's on Me TV.
Well, we have Rowan and Martin's laugh in every day here because it's Pennsylvania. You just have to go outside. I mean, for fuck's sake.
I was asking because like this stuff doesn't go into effect for a little bit, correct? Like when you have to have it.
Well, here in Pennsylvania, the latest word is the enforcement date is sometime in October of 21. It was supposed to be October of 20, but this cerveza virus thing here, they put it off for a year.
So you got to remember
It just seems weird because, like, Georgia started issuing real IDs in 2012.
Well, Pennsylvania has been fighting it for years.
and Wisconsin has been doing it since 2008, maybe earlier.
Yeah, no, Pennsylvania has been bucking the trend, and I was kind of cheering them on, but it finally got to the point where somebody ruled, "You've got to do it. You've got to do it." So yeah, I think Pennsylvania is one of the last states to implement it. I think.
Yeah, they probably had some Republican there that was thinking, government tyranny and all that kind of bullshit.
Well, Pennsylvania is a whole bunch of fun. We've got we've got what am I looking for? Enclaves of reason in Pittsburgh, in Philadelphia.
Ooh, I like that term. That's nice.
Oh, you like that, huh?
Yeah, that's
write that down. Yeah, just as long as you give accreditation, that'll be all fine. But yeah, we've got Pittsburgh, we've got Philadelphia, we've got Harrisburg of all places, and the rest of the state is as red as a used tampon on a heavy flow day. Especially southern Pennsylvania, the Amish belt. It's horrible.
The Amish vote?
Yeah.
Well, they are citizens, whether they want to be or not.
I know they're allowed to. I thought that their religions told them not to get involved.
Yeah, well, you know how well that works with all the other religions too. Yeah. That whole give unto Caesar that which is Caesar's, and they'll still go, because remember now, the what year was that where you had Kitzmiller versus Dover Board of Education? Kitzmiller, listen to that name. That's an Amish name, and the people who brought the suit were Amish.
We have a very heavy Amish population around here.
There's a belt,
Minnesota, Wisconsin.
Yeah, there's a belt that runs southern Pennsylvania, central Ohio, central Indiana, I'm pretty sure, and then it turns north to where you are. Pretty much, honey. Pretty much.
I have yet to dislike any of the Amish people I've ever met. I think they're just a lovely group of people. They're very kind and polite, and I'm just real happy to work with them and deal with them on whatever level I have to.
Yeah, I would like it if they kept to themselves more. I mean, they want the closed community, at least as far as I understand it. So, okay, close the community. I mean, keep to yourselves. Them, the Mennonites, anyone else who does that sort of thing. I have no problem with you having a closed community, but when you start trying to force yourself on, a halfway reasonable, I won't call the U.S. reasonable or rational, but, you try to force yourself into the public sphere. Now I got a problem with you. And this is what Kitzmiller did, where they wanted to force their beliefs on the public school system. And there are other cases like that.
Really, in what way?
I actually think that there is an issue with letting anyone have a closed community, is that it really leaves an opportunity for internal abuse. You've got, people that want to leave the community, and because it's a closed community.
Oh, you're referring to like some of those splinter Mormon groups that were into the old style Mormonism of, what do they call it? Multiple wives and stuff.
Well,
And-
no, I'm
Well,
just
no,
talking about in general, like, how.
I get what Pirate
I
Kid is
get where
saying.
you're coming from. Yes.
Yeah, and it runs into being a problem, for law enforcement. Like if they're trying to investigate a crime and these communities are so closed off, they often, won't help like state authorities investigating a crime.
Gee, wasn't there a film like that a little while back?
There's been several of them in the last few years.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm thinking like the Amish, apparently they have this thing where when the kids get to be a certain age, they're allowed to go out into the world and be normal
Right.
for a while. And
Right.
if you let them be an insular community where there's no contact with the outside world, then what you're basically doing is you're giving these kids the choice of go out into the world where you know no one, or stay with your family.
That is exactly what is happening now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they do that currently.
Yeah. You let the kids sow the wild oats or whatever the hell they call it. And if the kid decides, no, I don't like that community, where do they go? They have learned nothing about how to comport themselves in the English world, I believe.
Well, that's not entirely true, because many of them are going to public schools with right alongside of non-Amish families and stuff like that.
Yeah, but
they come and shop. They come and shop in the same stores that we do. They come and buy. Well, they don't buy the gasoline, but they're in the car as a passenger when somebody's buying gasoline at a convenience store or things like that.
They go to school through what, grade 8, grade 6?
I'm not certain.
Because I thought they didn't go as long as. Oh, thank you, honey. Thank you. Yeah, Rumspringe. Yeah, being a German word, that sort of thing. Anyway, where the hell was I going with that?
Well, we're talking about the absence of education of our culture versus their own.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. I'll look around Pittsburgh, and the kids that graduate high school, graduate the 12th grade, are not at all prepared to be out in the real world, let alone somebody who is allowed to leave school at the age of 12. Where do you go? What do you do?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've got. Thank you, hon. We here in Pittsburgh, we've got a very high population of stupid.
Well, I mean, that's pretty much everywhere at this point.
Yeah, and that's by design, but that's another story.
I will be right back. I have got to get a cup of tea.
Yeah, well, I'm going to have to get a cup of coffee in a little bit here because my mouth is already going dry. But
I'll be right back.
We'll hang on for a little bit here yet.
Yeah, but the point that I was making was they're already probably too insular, to the point where they don't have a support system outside of their community. So maybe they go and sow their wild oats and they don't really want to stay, but they don't know any other where to.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. And as far as I can tell, that is also by design.
Yeah, they would not know how to make a living or, do the basic things that you need to do to be an adult in our society.
Yeah, it's give them a choice, which really is not a choice. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I've always felt that it was, to some degree, a scare tactic. basically to reinforce the narrative they've been given about how scary the outside world is.
I mean, there are a few that I know of who have successfully transitioned from that insular world to Western society, but a very, 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 very few. And what I'd really like to see is a little bit more of a support system. I mean, even if it, and this is where it's going to be all sorts of fun. I mean, even if it's publicly funded or something like that, for a kid who wants to enter the real world from a society like that, okay, you can be here for a while you learn what it takes, and then we'll help you out, we'll support you, and then once you've got an idea of how to comport yourself, then go for it.
Yeah, it would be good if there was, something to the effect of a halfway house.
Yes, yeah. Yep.
Where they could have a room or have a small apartment, but there would still be, somebody there to answer questions and, help them through all the bureaucracy they have to deal with.
Uh-huh. Oh, God. I'm going to have to look for my blowtorch. I need to cinch my legs. Anyway, how's that for a little...
Jenny was just asking about full body shaving just before you came in.
Oh, okay. No, I'm not going to go that far. No. But right about now, I could braid my leg hair, so I'm going to do something about it. It's still prior to the equinox, and I'm still inclined to go out in shorts. And I don't want to look like Lucy in the Sky, the Johansson thing here. So I'm going to have to do something about that. Well, at least it's not as bad as it was before I started HRT. I mean, HRT will not eliminate the unwanted body hair, but in my case, anyway, it's lessened it to some degree.
Whoa.
Well?
Sorry, I'm playing a video game and I just got my butt kicked.
Oh, boy! Can I watch?
My reputation in this town just took a nosedive.
Oh my. I gotta look here, see where oh no, I'm not, that's on the other side. Okay. I want to see where I am for the last, I think, 10 days, I've been trying to recover a backup drive. Okay, 10 minutes left in moving that file.
I didn't realize it takes so long.
Oh, this drive is fucked.
Mm-hmm.
It's operating at maybe 5% its rated speed.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to buy another drive. So
it's one of
everything.
One of the items on my Amazon wish list is to get another drive, partially so I can have everything backed up to an external drive just in case.
Yeah, and what I really need is, okay, this was a backup drive. And unfortunately, what I need is multiple levels of backup.
I will be right back.
Oh, yay. Thanks for the warning. Because, when I was actually trying to do some backing up on it, for some reason, the drive got thrown off the machine. I mean, it just disconnected spontaneously, and that fucked everything over. So, I'm going to have to get another drive, another brand new drive. And, well, at least they cost less now than they did when I bought this one. Because this drive I've had for, oh Christ, I had it when I lived in that bombed out shell of a house. So that was 8 years ago. I must have bought it close to 10 years ago. probably approached its end of life anyway.
Yeah. I'm kind of wondering what the lifespan of computers is these days. I mean, most people replace them because they think after 2 years they're obsolete.
Yeah, it's like the way everybody used to buy cars back when we were young, right? You'd get a new car every 2 years, whether you needed it or not.
Yeah. I thought the idea had originally been that you had to replace it when the ashtray was full, but since smoke got out of vogue.
Oh man, and I have not bought a motor vehicle. Let me see now. I haven't bought a motor vehicle in 32 years.
Yeah, Sloth Girl just had to get a new tablet because a couple of days ago hers decided to shut down and it wouldn't restart itself.
Oops.
So even doing the factory restart, she could not get most of her files back.
Oh, damn.
Just the stuff that she had backed up onto her laptop.
Moof beef.
Yeah, she had a lot of graph patterns and things that she lost there, which, you know.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, my word. I am so sorry. Because, yeah, that sort of thing is either a pain in the arse to replace or irreplaceable. Shitsky. But yeah, that's where I was hoping that I hadn't lost anything from my aerospace history directory. I know I lost some music. I lost all my Brahms. I lost a few other things. I just hope, I mean, I can replace almost all of the aerospace history. It just takes forever to download it.
Yeah.
You know, the Internet Archive. But that is og, and that is foo, and that is boo, and that is goo. And
yeah, and I know that the thing is every place is encouraging you to upload everything to the cloud so that you've got backups no matter what. And it's like, I'm not quite sure I trust that.
I don't. Definitely,
Yeah.
I don't.
I don't want to be... You always hear about, you know, the security breaches on these sites, and, you know, their user agreements get so technical you can't understand them.
Mm-hmm.
So I really don't feel comfortable putting all my personal stuff up there, you know, basically not really knowing who has access to it under what conditions.
Right. Yes. Now that stuff, no, I would not upload any of that. If there was anything I would upload, I would consider, okay, all the photographs I have from the NASA missions and everything else. But why bother uploading that with all the time it takes when to replace it, it takes pretty much the same amount of time just to download it all over again.
Well, as long as you know where to get it, and as long as, you know, you can be sure those sites are going to stay around.
Yeah. I haven't gone to the Internet Archive recently. I'll have to take a look. I do know that some of the YouTube files that have been uploaded, the recordings from CBS and NBC and that sort of thing, a couple of them have disappeared over copyright issues, which is horrible. Because this stuff from 1965, you know, what damage is that doing by having another copy of it out there? You know, how is CBS being hurt? But I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's the only copyright strike I've had on my channel was NBC, because we played part of the theme song of a show from the 1980s that has never aired past its first airing. So it's like,
okay,
it's not like anybody's making money off of this. What's the big deal?
Mm-hmm.
But NBC comes after a channel with 300 subscribers because they're worried about the copyright claim on that.
Yeah, I don't get it. I really don't. And I mean, this stuff is historical. Some of the stuff is absolutely hilarious. It hasn't disappeared yet, but I'm assuming it will someday. There is the clip from Uncle Walter in the studio in St. Louis talking about, I think it was Gemini 9, and they had a mock-up on the stage and somebody hanging and everything else. It was leaning on the door or the hatch to the Gemini spacecraft on the right-hand side, and the hinge let go, and you hear this bang, and then you see you pounding on the thing to get it going, and Walter is over there with, now this is not happening up there. This is just down here in the studio, trying to reassuring everybody that they weren't in trouble in orbit. It was so much fun. But what can I tell you? I get off on that shit.
Yeah, well, like you said, it does have some historical significance, and even just the back and forth chatter, just to have some flavor of the personalities of the people involved rather than just the technical side.
Yeah, and to listen to Gene Cernan, who fancied himself the hippie of the group. And, oh, this is wild. This is, trying to use all those words like Sinatra did when he was on stage. He's trying to be, relevant to the younger set, and it's just not working.
He was trying to be hip and with it.
Say again, hon?
I said he was trying to be hip and with it.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, I have it on good authority that Cernan was a very, very good person, was a very good, quick wit and everything like that. A friend of mine got a chance to meet him and has nothing but good things to say about him. So there's that. Yeah, she was lucky enough that her father would buy the tickets necessary for her to go to the dinners at Canaveral, the reunion dinners and everything, and you'd be at a table with this astronaut or that astronaut and everything else. And lucky kid.
I got to meet somebody who walked on the moon.
Oh, really?
I can't remember who though. Let me see.
Do you remember which mission?
No.
Okay, now this person definitely
Charles
walked on.
Duke. It was Charles Duke.
Oh, Nora has a lot to say about. No, yeah, Nora's met him as well. Says he's a real horn dog.
Yeah, he did a talk somewhere in South Carolina, in Columbia, South Carolina, and my astronomy teacher got us like tickets or something, the class to go and attend it.
Oh,
And
you
so
lucky.
I got a picture with him. I posted the picture and said I got to meet an astronaut who walked on the moon. I said I got to meet this astronaut named Charles Duke. I was really over the moon about it.
Oh, you. I unfortunately have not met any of the people who flew those missions. Now, Tom Stafford's daughter is a friend of mine, Dion Stafford. Got to meet her through a Facebook group called, I'm trying to remember, it was Space Hipsters or if it was Mercury Gemini Apollo era, where many of the members of this group were the old timers. A lot of the flight directors, the flight controllers, oh God, how many of them that I've talked to. Another friend of mine is the daughter of the guy who picked up Alan Shepard and John Glenn after Splashdown. Wayne Coons was the helicopter pilot that picked those, and his daughter Deb is a friend of mine through that group, and even a couple astronauts. I mean, I've had a chance to talk with Chris Hadfield, who's a big sweetie, and
Closest I come is a friend of mine's father worked at Delco, and he was on the team of people that designed the onboard guidance systems for Apollo.
oh yay.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I tell you, the AGC is a work of art, definitely.
You saw some guys got it running again, didn't you?
Yes, I did. What I'd really like to do is run a simulator here for the AGC, because I'd like to.
They did that on the 50th anniversary. They ran the entire flight from takeoff to splashdown based on the tapes and things that NASA had, and actually ran the guidance equipment and stuff to do a full simulation of the trip. Of course, we all knew the ending.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had these incredible logs of all the dialogue, all the actual mechanical information that went on, all the electronics information that went on, all the commands that went on between the various machines, the stuff that the astronauts had to enter versus the stuff that, or the output from the computers, and it was fascinating to get this big clunky thing.
Were these the same? Were these the same guys that put up the website, the Apollo Flight Journal?
I don't know. It sounds familiar, but I don't remember for sure. I know it was only last year, but I just didn't pay attention.
Yeah, it's amazing when I think about it, isn't it? I mean, last year, that was half a century since.
Yeah.
And
isn't that amazing?
It feels so long, and yet it feels like yesterday.
Yep. Yep, it sure does. I can remember being in my elementary school, listening to John Glenn's flight.
Okay.
And hearing all the panic in the broadcaster's voice when they were unsure about what was going on with the heat shield, and
oh yeah, right.
And then the relief of him actually, showing up and splashing down, and it was just wow, And,
okay, let me think. Now, you were in what, first grade, second grade?
What year was that?
62.
62. I would have been
in February.
I forget, my birthday was late in the year, so I started next.
The flight was 25th.
I think it was first grade then.
Okay. Yeah. I was 4 years old and glued to the goddamn television. That's
my mom says she was in high school when that happened.
John Glenn?
I'm sorry, hold on. What are we talking about?
John Glenn.
Which is
flight number one.
That was that wasn't flight number one.
Well,
but
no,
it was
Shepard.
America's first orbital flight.
Orbital flight.
What year was that?
62.
Okay, she wouldn't have been.
If she was in high school,
would have been 12.
That would make her a lot older than me.
She was about 12 then. She was born in 51.
Oh, okay. So she's 6 years older than I am. I just turned 63.
I was in 54, so that makes her 3 older than me, which would put her 4th grade. So about 9, 10.
I thought for a minute you guys were talking about Apollo 13.
Oh no, I turned 12 the day that Neil and Buzz landed on the moon, which is why 11 is my favorite mission of all
Oh
time.
yeah, I remember that day. I had a bowel movement that day.
Okay. And there are a whole bunch of us who wish each other happy birthday on that day.
Yeah,
That's the one thing I forgot. Hmm?
Doorknob was saying he was negative 5 years old in 62. So, yeah, I remember that too. It was a year before I was conceived.
What really
Okay,
frustrates
yeah.
me is that I remember, John Glenn clearly. I mean, just smack dab in my mind. And my earliest memories about anything that was outside of my reality, home school, as a young child like that, is I remember hearing about the Bay of Pigs, and it being discussed on television and the adults talking about it a little bit here and there. But I have no recollection at all of Alan Shepard's first flight. None.
Neither-
Zero. Zip.
Neither do I remember it. No. I do remember, for what it's worth, I remember Roger Maris's run to 61 in 1961. I believe that's probably my earliest memory of anything that you want to call major, that was newsworthy.
Oh, you got a fish now, huh?
Huh? What?
I said I see there's water in your fish tank.
There's water, but no fish yet.
Oh.
No,
Just
I
plants
haven't.
so far.
Yeah, I haven't got livestock yet.
So that was actually something that was asked on Twitter. Was like, what is the first
Right.
major news story that you remember?
Yeah.
Mm.
And for me, it was Bay of Pigs.
Bay of Pigs invasion.
Yeah, for me, it would definitely be the first landing on the moon, because that's when I was 5 years old.
Mine was the Challenger explosion.
Wait a minute.
My
I
grandparents.
thought we were 5 years apart. No, we're 7 years apart.
I was born in 64.
Okay, we're 7 years apart.
And I was 54.
Okay then. But that was you were there to hear that one when we were on Hilton's porch.
Yep.
And I'm saying, I was born in 57. Aaron wheels around. You're older than I am.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Well, I remember that because I was astounded to find out that Aaron Raw's actually older than I am. So that's what you're thinking of, is you're 5 years off from him.
So
Yeah,
what year were you born?
I was
Me?
born in 64.
Yeah, 64 for you, Diana. What year?
I was born in 57.
57. Okay.
Man, I'm hanging out with all these old people.
And Aaron was born
Shut
in
up,
67.
kid.
No, but it just amazed me that he thought that I was younger than he. Everybody thinks I'm young. And it doesn't get me any dates.
Diana, I don't think you're young.
Okay, thank you.
What blows my mind is there's a couple of people so I'm much younger than you guys.
Well, for fuck's sake, you were born what, in 1990?
No,
I
83,
79.
79.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah.
The year I began my transition. The last year I had sex.
But I found out that Shannon Q is 3 years younger than me, and Paula G is 2 years younger than me, and I look at these people and I'm like, I feel like I've been watching you on YouTube forever, and that you are so much wiser than me, and you should not be younger than me.
there you go. Oh, but there was the one day that Hissy, Danger Hissy, thought that I was 42, and it was like, thank you.
I'll take it.
Yeah, Nothing like thinking I'm 20 years younger than I am, and it still doesn't get me any dates, but
Who was I was on a show with, oh God, I can't remember who it was. A person he's been on a variety of different panels. I don't think a whole lot or anything. A fairly young guy. I think he said he was 20, 21, 22, something like that. He actually thought I was in my 30s.
Oh man, that must have felt good, or giving you a good laugh. I don't know which. You know.
I pretty much had to laugh that one. That was pretty bizarre.
I know
mean-
it's really interesting though that I notice it seems to be a general rule: the younger they are, the younger they think you are,
Interesting.
or the older. I mean, a young kid will think that you're either their age or twice their age.
It's like there's no middle ground. You're either 20 or 200.
Yeah, pretty much, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, I think that people just kind of have a perception, of what's young and what's old, and they don't see anything in the middle. So they either think you're close to their age, or they think you're a grandparent.
I want to know what I mean. One of the tells about a person's age is their voice, and I don't think I have a voice that sounds 65.
I wouldn't think so either.
I don't know. I really haven't given it any thought.
Well, I just wonder about, well, at what point does that happen to people?
Is am I not too knowing? No, is am I not too? And it happens, or at least as I've noticed, at different ages for different people. I mean, I'm almost as old as Babka was when the slimy bastards brought me home from the baby store. And I always remember Babka sounding, quote, old and quote. She had that voice going, that grandmother's voice. But, when those two brought me home, she was 65 years old. Now, I don't know.
My grandpa, my mom's dad, died at 65, and my only memories of him is as a very old man with all gray hair, walking very, very much like an old person, with a very old voice, and shaky, cold, old person hands, and that. But he was my age when he died, and it's like, damn.
Wolf beef.
What a huge fucking difference generationally in our health and well-being of us today versus people who I knew back then. And I was 11 years old when he died. It's not like I had some kind of child mixed up image of what an old person was or looked like or anything like that. He was clearly an old person.
Yeah, Kate and I have talked about that on the air many times, where she notes that we seem to be in better shape now as we get older than the generations prior to us. And maybe it's not, we're not wearing ourselves out the way they did. That sort of thing is what she's thinking. And she may have something going there. She may have a point. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I think so. I think that's probably part of it. Other people I know who are my age, who are not in the same level of degradation, and I'll musculoskeletal wise or orthopedic wise, they all had easier jobs than I did. They didn't have a physically demanding job like I did.
Okay,
I think there's a huge amount, I think, that has to do with wear and tear.
Well, there's wear and tear. There's also, just changing medical opinions. Up until, I think, even like the early 90s, they were still managing to push that smoking was healthy for you.
Oh, I never heard that in that late. Never.
Okay, well,
I don't remember hearing it
still,
into the 90s. I mean, I remember that sort of thing claimed in the 50s and early 60s.
I remember hearing about smoking causing cancer in 6th grade. which
Well,
which would
yeah,
have
but
been
there were.
what,
I'm saying there were a lot
66?
of people that were arguing against it still.
I
You know.
don't. I was a high schooler in the 90s, and I don't ever remember anybody saying that smoking was good for you.
Okay,
I
well,
suppose it depends on what you're smoking.
I
there could be something to that.
Yeah.
maybe somebody was trying to say smoking cigars is good for you. I don't know.
Well,
I didn't-
I definitely recall people even into the 90s saying no, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, is one of the things that finally got me to quit was my voice was just totally shot. It ripped the shit out of my throat. And when I did quit, I got most of my voice back. So, okay. I'm still at higher risk of all kinds of nasty things than I would have been had I never smoked, but oh well.
Yeah, I'll do what I can to keep young people from smoking. You know, I just tell them, you know, look at my life, you know, and it's because I smoke. You don't want to live this way at my age. You know, I mean,
Just out of bulk curiosity, how long have you been smoking?
I started in like 75.
Okay. Okay, because I smoked for 49 years before I finally quit. Let's see now. Started when I was 12, so that would have been about 69 when I started.
I would smoke a cigarette here and there, you know, like maybe 2 or 3 times a year. I'd have 1 cigarette, 2 cigarettes.
Okay.
So I don't even consider that having been a smoker at all prior to
Okay.
75. But 75 was a peak year for me psychologically, and I know that's the year that I turned into a nervous Nelly who was looking for drugs to stop the feelings, make them go away.
I know that I was not a 6-pack a day Camel smoker when I first started. Okay, but by the time I went to uni, I was a reasonably heavy smoker already. I think maybe 2
I
packs a day.
I got to a 4-pack a day habit.
Yeah, I was there pretty much when I was about 20.
Yeah, and that was well, it was the same year that I started seeing a shrink and began to consider transition.
Moof beef.
It's amazing, God Almighty. I still don't understand how what I went through, what every transgender person goes through to some in their own way, how it can affect you so deeply in so many different ways, and how badly. It's just I still don't understand the power of it and why it was so destructive. You know,
Yeah, I don't know. I wish that sort of thing, or any sorts of stresses, let's put it that way, I wish that those would not engender self-destructive behaviors, but unfortunately, they very often do.
yeah, that's for damn sure.
Yeah, and here I am sounding like a clinician or something with the self-destructive behaviors.
Oh, somebody's on TV. All right. Poll time. Everybody out in the chat. Everybody on the panel. John Legend, the singer. Hot or not?
Who?
John Legend.
What is that?
The name sounds familiar, but I have no way. I can't picture who that is.
Beyonce's husband.
Eh.
I don't pay much attention to celebrities.
No idea at all.
Oh, he plays piano and sings and stuff.
Okay,
No,
hold on a
if you
second.
know him, never mind. I know what my answer is. I think he's one of the hottest guys out there.
Usually, when
He's
you ask that, the person that they think they're hot. So
he's not ugly, I wouldn't say, but he's kind of got that same kind of face like Benedict Cumberbatch does, where it doesn't look classic attractive, but he's still attractive. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That makes any sense.
Yeah, it does. That makes sense. But it's also intellectually. I hear him talk in interviews and stuff like that. He's really a brilliant person and a very deep thinker.
Mhm.
It's clear, and that's very, very attractive to me.
And I thought he's married to Chrissy Teigen.
Oh yeah, did I say Beyonce? Yeah,
Yeah, you
you're-
did. I
Yeah,
was like, wait a
you did.
minute.
no, Chrissy Teigen.
I don't know. Yeah, I didn't see Tara come in either. Well, I just brought the page up over here, so I mean it's the first I've had it up. I noticed there's a little bit of a conversation going on in the side chat, and I'm trying to figure out exactly what that is. Let's see. Tara has said "not" in response to something, and I don't know what that is.
I thought
And-
that was in regard to is he hot or not.
And just so
Oh,
the,
okay.
the kids out there don't think I'm like this ancient person. I know Beyonce's married to Jay-Z. I the brain was just farting, so excuse me.
At least yours doesn't fart like mine does when I sometimes get confused between Jay-Z and Kanye West.
Oh God.
Like I know they're two separate people, but when I look at one, I always go, is that Kanye West or is that Jay-Z? I can't remember which name goes to which person.
No, wait a minute. Who's shouting what?
Oh, my
Okay, well,
boyfriend is.
Oh, that's you, because yeah, same time zone I'm
Well,
in.
that just means we have to build you a soundproof room.
Oh well, we'll have to talk to. Who the hell was it that did that? Did that dating game or newlywed game show where they went into the soundproof booth?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, you two need soundproof. Are you both sound deniers? We've got to get into that.
There you go. Yeah, that's it.
Well, do you think there's ever going to be any way we can just get Kanye West to go away?
Yeah, sure.
I've always known that he was poop ever since the whole thing with. Like I haven't liked him. I mean, like his music is not bad sometimes, but like the whole thing with Taylor Swift and then
I was so mad at him. How dare you do that to my girlfriend?
Huh?
You're not familiar with the whole thing where Kanye West got up on stage and basically like tried to steal her thunder when she won an award that he felt should have gone to Beyonce.
I have no idea what you're saying. No, I am in a cocoon. Okay, I don't get out of the house much.
So at one point, a couple years back, Taylor Swift won Best New Artist or Best Album or Album of the Year or something like that. And while she was up on the stage getting ready to accept the award, Kanye West rushed up on the screen onto the stage, took the mic, and basically started saying that I'm going to let you finish, but Beyonce really deserved Album of the Year, not you, basically is what he was saying.
Yeah.
Okay, and
it was one of his psychotic rants.
I guess that what I have to say is, what does it matter?
Well, but then he went and he went and he did it again when Beck was up for an award against Beyonce and Beck won. I don't know if you guys know who Beck is, but Beck is he's like he does everything. Like, he's got his own home studio. He mixes his own music. He writes his own music. He performs his own songs. There's no, there's not this whole other crew helping him with his music. And he won, like, whatever it was, album of the year or whatever, and he basically pulled the same thing again, trying to say that Beyonce, who's just a singer and a dancer, is better than someone who writes their own music, performs their own music, does their own scores of music, produces the soundtrack. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Oh,
it's yeah.
Have any of you heard Taylor Swift's new album, Folklore?
No.
What's a Taylor Swift?
Just this hottie 30-year-old woman who's probably one of the greatest entertainers ever born.
I've only heard her the one song that Rachel Oates did a video on.
Cardigan?
No. Shit. The one where she said, like, you need to calm down.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right.
But by and large, I am not a fan of Taylor Swift.
Oh. I noticed her when she first showed up. She was like 15, I think. And she was just this gorgeous young child, and she had a pretty voice,
Careful.
and
I was just thinking the same thing.
she's 30 years old now, and all right, yeah, she's cute and she's got a nice voice, but she's singing all these teenage angst kind of songs and stuff like that, and so I just wasn't a fan. I don't care to waste my time listening to forlorn teenagers. But then I noticed somewhere else that, oh, she wrote that. Oh, she plays the piano. Oh, she plays the guitar. Oh, she does this and that, and she writes all her own music and does all her own arranging. And she was her own manager, and she arranged her own concerts and her own albums. And it's like, wait a minute, what can this kid do? And as she has matured, it's just become very clear that she is just an incredibly intelligent woman who is powerful, confident, very, very, very smart, and can just literally do anything. And she's gotten to the point in lyrical maturation, let's call it, that now she's singing. It's still about relational kind of stuff and what the world's about and stuff like that, but it's so much deeper than it was when she was a kid. She's had 15 years in the business now to learn more and be more, as an adult now, and all that kind of stuff. And I think she's worth my time to listen to now. She's just very, very good. And this new album she just came out with is, holy fuck. every goddamn song on it is something you want to memorize. It's so good.
I might have to give her another chance. I mean, my issue with her was growing up was like, she only made at least it seemed to me that she only made hit songs when she was shitting on her exes.
Yeah, I would agree with that criticism. And that's what I mean when I say teenage angst. That it was, all this forlorn teenager puppy love that went bad kind of stuff.
And then it often ended up causing the exes like a shit ton of trouble, because of the songs that she was making made it seem like they were just like shit people, and it's like, you broke up, it's not that big a deal. Why spend so much time writing songs that your fan base is going to use as a fodder for hating on somebody?
Well, when you're an adolescent, that's what you do.
Yeah.
We all did that with our lost loves and stuff like that as a child. That's just the way we are. But that doesn't mean I wanted to listen to it, so I mostly ignored her. In fact, I remember thinking when I first heard her that, geez, I wonder what she's going to sound like in 20 years. You know, and what if she were to get into doing jazz or something? Because she really had a very excellent voice, a very nice voice.
Yeah, I mean, I can't fault that. She does have a decent voice.
And that song that you mentioned, her "Calm Down," um, as somebody that song applies to, somebody in the LGBT, particularly the T a community, the thing turned into an anthem. It really
Yeah.
is. It means so much to us. Um, it's just, oh god damn it, you know.
That's something that I wanted to that's you mentioned Anthem and Lady Gaga's
Mm,
Born This Way was
hmm
heavily a big deal. But you know who I think didn't get enough credit for the song that they did on that subject?
hmm.
Macklemore.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I've
I
heard
don't think
others
he
say that
got
too.
I don't think he got nearly enough credit for that song as he deserved.
Yeah, I've definitely heard other people say that. I'm not a Macklemore fan, and I have heard that song and read the lyrics and stuff, and I agree with you. I think it was a very significant song culturally.
Mhm.
Um, you know, as you know, songs are so much more than just pop music.
Mhm.
You know, especially when they step out of the format of 3 minutes. You know, they're the artistic poetry of the day. There's same thing to us as was it Barrett Browning or any of those old time poets were in their day. Um, you know, words are powerful and have purpose. And, you know, so for me, popular music is has more to do with the lyrics than anything else. The beat attracts you, but
Mhm.
if it's some vapid song about my puppy dog, I don't care. It's,
Yeah, that's one of those things that always annoys me. Like, I will listen to music specifically because it resonates with however I'm feeling, and my boyfriend will just be like, "Turn that noise off," and I'm like, "I'm trying to give you clues, pay attention." Not quite that bad recently, though.
God, have you seen this film that just came out today of a California cop? Um, I haven't seen it clearly, but I believe it's a woman. Yeah, it is. That found some guy in his 60s or whatever who was in his wheelchair stuck on railroad tracks,
Ooh.
and she had to rush to him and pull him out of his chair because she didn't have time to get the chair out, and pulled him to safety like literally a split second before he would have been killed. The train actually hit his foot as she was pulling him away.
Wow.
Oof.
It was that close. And she had her body cam on, and so you get to see the whole damn thing. It's frightening as hell.
Yeah, just
What a hero!
Well,
What a hero, though.
so lucky
well,
for him that she came along when she did.
Mhm.
I don't know. I want to know how it was that he came to be on the tracks.
He was in the appeared to be in a crosswalk area, and his wheel got stuck lengthwise. You know, so that the wheel and the track were parallel. There's
Yeah,
always that slot in
Oh.
pavement, and he appeared to be caught in there. Um,
I
I
can understand how it happened just because I've had a bicycle wheel catch like that.
exactly happens all the time.
So wait, okay, so it was accidental.
Oh yeah, yeah. There was nobody else in there.
He was probably
It was
just
just
trying to
him.
cross the tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah, if the chair got twisted the wrong way as he was trying to go across the rails.
I don't know.
Well,
Maybe he was
I
trying to
had,
kill. Maybe he was trying to commit suicide. Maybe, but
well, that's
re-
what I was wondering. I was wondering if he was, I mean, that would be a shitty way to do it because you're going to be noticed by somebody. But I just wondered if he was not attempting suicide. And in that case, pulling him out of the way was the worst thing you could have done for him.
I don't know. I think that when it comes to suicide, like, don't do it in a way that's going to fuck up other people. You know, death by cop, death by jumping in front of a car on the railroad or a car on the highway or a train. Like, that's going to fuck up the conductor, the driver, the cop themselves. You know, it's like, if you're going to kill yourself, I better stop before I say something insensitive.
Yeah.
Keep it private. Is what you're saying.
Well, no, I just, if you're going to do it in a way that you're not going to be inadvertently harming someone. I mean, you're going to harm people either way, like your family and all that, but that doesn't cause someone to feel like they're at fault for your death.
Mhm.
And any of us in that situation would have tried to save the guy. She had no knowledge if he was trying to commit suicide. She just saw this little guy stuck on the tracks and reacted.
Well, no, I'm not faulting her or anything like that. It's just
okay.
it would have been a horrible thing had he seen this train coming at him. Oh boy, yay! And I just get pulled out of the way. I have a somewhat non-standard. I have a non-standard view of these things. That's as far as I'll take it.
Yeah, Andrea is saying it's making her uncomfortable too, so I think maybe we should go to a new topic here. So, actually, I should probably be shutting down here because we're going on close to 3 hours now. So, we've got about 10 minutes here if anybody's got anything that they want to plug.
Oh my, oh my, oh my. So I'm just curious, are you still time limited when it comes to this thing? Oh, okay.
No, I'm.
Well,
I certainly am fading here myself.
I certainly have no problems with StreamYard since I got machines with more memory.
Okay, so you're not having the issues you used to have?
Oh, nothing. None at all. None at all.
Oh, yay. That's a good thing.
Yeah, so it was just that the devices you had were not handling the apps well before.
Wow, I just saw a blurb on the TV. Apple and Android have just kicked Fortnite off of their stores.
Okay, no wait.
Why?
Really?
What is Fortnite?
It's an extremely popular game.
It is a what's the word for it? It's a
single person shooter. Fuck, what do they call that when everybody dies?
Battle Royale.
Battle Royale, yeah. Last person standing.
So they put like 50 people playing the game, and then the winner is the person left at the end.
Yeah. Why would they be kicking it off? They did something offensive, I take it.
I don't know.
It seems, I've never actually played the game, but just the characters in that, it seems there's a lot of things to be offended by long before now.
Yeah. I tried to play it once. I found it revolting. I just had no desire to play with cartoon characters. I'm a realistic kind of.
I'm not a big fan of first-person shooters anyway, so.
Yeah, not a type of game I ever got into.
I've only gotten into first-person shooters if it was a bow.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't explain why I'm into it, but I am. I like first-person shooters. I know I have this militaristic streak in me somewhere for some reason, and it's a way to satisfy it, I guess.
The last first-person shooter I played was Postal, if any of you remember that game.
Oof, that's been a while.
Yeah. Yeah, because that game came out not too long after the shootings in the post offices.
Yeah.
I played the early incarnations of Doom.
Moo. Okay. I just got to look into see now. I am
The
thinking.
the only game I play is PUBG, and on mobile, and I play that because I had seen other people playing the game, and it became mobile, and it was free, and it doesn't cost me anything, and that's important. Unlimited
Yeah.
income.
Oh my word! Okay, so Postal came out 23 years ago. All right.
My favorite game I used to play was I forget the actual name of it, but it was you were flying the space shuttle, and the only thing you did in the game was land it. You know how they land is with no power; it's a glider coming in,
Huh.
and
Yeah,
you
a
have to-
brick
you
with
have to-
wings.
Yeah, and you had to land it, and I never did successfully.
I have to wonder how many times the commanders crashed before they got the landings right in the simulators.
Hmm. I think that's something that the government should do, and airlines should do, is they should have a publicly available um, simulator for people to have a ride in. Just like here, go pay $100 and go play with the simulator for an hour or something like that. That would just be so thrilling.
That would be fun. One thing I've always wanted to do, and I know I'll never be able to do it, is put together a command module and a lunar module simulator,
Mm-hmm.
and then having the mocher over in another room. So you've got all these people together simulating either the missions that were already flown or missions that have never been flown. Write a mission, that sort of thing. I just have to wonder how many people out there would be all over themselves to do that. I'm guessing more than one.
I don't think I'd be a big fan of space simulation because it's so slow, and if you're going to model it realistically, I mean, so many space games models space travel like with the aerodynamics of air instead of vacuum,
Well,
or lack of gravity.
most space games have you in atmosphere at some point, so they design the ships aerodynamically for takeoff and landing.
Yeah,
With takeoff and landing in mind.
yeah, spaceships don't need wings.
Yeah, no, I asked my boyfriend that once because we play a game together sometimes called baby, what's the name of the game that's never gonna come out? The one that we play with the people, Star Citizen. I'm just making a joke about it. I asked him, I'm like, why do all of these ships look like planes instead of like spaceships? And he's like, because you take off and land from the surface of a planet. So they need to be aerodynamic for the takeoff and landing process there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, I guess that makes sense.
Uh-oh.
What did you break?
I've been playing this game for 11 hours.
Nothing, but I've got 11% battery.
Oh, yay.
Well, I did say about shutting down the stream here, so.
Yes, you did. You did. Yes.
And Sammy is telling me I'm supposed to be in bed by now.
Well, I really enjoyed this. I've missed you guys. I haven't been around much, and
Yeah.
and you especially, Diana. It's nice to be back on a panel with you.
It was good to have you in here, and we wandered over quite a few subjects. This time I actually kept up with it, and I was actually listing them in the description as we went. So if anybody wants to go back, there's a list of generally what we covered here.
Well, folks in the chat, I wasn't ignoring the chat. I'm down to one device because I have to be on phone data instead of Wi-Fi, so I couldn't follow the chat while I was watching the rest of the show here. And StreamYards and
Oh yeah, I was
a
kind
phone won't let you do both at once. So but it's nice to see all you in the chat. Doorknob Head, Auntie Jer, my girlfriend, and everybody else who's out there.
Yay.
Yeah, we need to remember to make sure that Jenny's around when I go to Michigan. Or Minnesota, rather.
Okay, you're planning a trip up here?
Yeah, I told you about it before. The snake discovery place that they're building
Oh, yeah.
at some point.
Is that in Minneapolis?
Just outside.
Well, we could plan to get together.
If I ever
Three of
figure
us?
out how I'm gonna get there, I would probably be 4 people.
Yeah,
Well-
I'd actually started kicking around the idea of, just having kind of a YouTubers get together in St. Paul.
Yeah, and Invasive Virus did a job on that.
Yeah, well, it was just before the lockdowns hit, but maybe next summer.
Or
Well, I
you
don't know.
could just come to Faithless Forum.
Well, I'd like to.
Well, let's see.
Only if I'm guaranteed to get laid.
I'm guessing here that we should be back almost normal, be able to do things like the Faithless Forum, unrestricted, that sort of, by 2025.
I hope not.
Well, no, I think, within a year, they should probably have a vaccine available.
Yeah, I want to know how many anti-vaxxers are going to refuse it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be pretty pissed if I get old and die before the pandemic thing ends.
yeah, but the vaccine is something that you can do to protect yourself. So,
What a crappy way to spend your last few years.
Yeah.
Jeez.
so that's kind of why I'm thinking that, I'm thinking by next spring there'll be a vaccine available. So once I get the vaccine, then next summer I can be doing things with groups in public.
Yeah, that's one good thing about being in the target group. I would assume that they will release the vaccine for people like me
Mhm.
You assume a great deal, don't you?
in high risk. Well, they've done that with other things, so I think they'll follow suit.
Giving it to high risk demographics first.
Mm-hmm. So we can die as the guinea pigs. Oh, we gotta
That's
stop
like-
getting that. People are dying for it.
That was something that somebody brought up. They were like, if Russia introduced the fact that they had made come up with a coronavirus vaccine, would you take it?
No.
And I was like,
I'd want to know how thoroughly it was tested.
Well, right. If Russia came up with a vaccine and it was sent off to, say, 3 unrelated labs and they were all tested and they all said it was good, why wouldn't you take it?
Yeah. Well, that's what I was figuring, that they would have to send samples of it over and it would be reviewed by some American medical teams. And, if they said it was safe, then yeah, why is there a problem with who started it?
And of course, there's no chance that they would have one thing tested and another thing delivered. No, I don't trust Russia for nothing. I would not. Nor if it was from China. China. I just don't trust them.
How on earth does my phone recognize that I've plugged in a phone that won't turn on?
They're really fucking smart these days. I have to go. I'm down to 5%.
Yep.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, bye. Love y'all.
Take care, hon.
Okay, well, we're going to disconnect here. So thanks, everybody.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Thanks,
Take
everybody.
care, kids. See you Sunday.